I hope this is the last time I talk about Hasan Piker for a while. To be honest, I don't really want to talk about him. However, I cannot just let this slide, and since I know that even more Pegasus isn't going to cover this one, we're going to have to do a deep dive onto the political stance that is the largest political grift in modern history. I hope you're ready, boys and girl, because I believe personally that both Hasan Piker and his uncle Cenk, both of them together, are doing their best as foreign agents to subvert American politics to get, to turn America into a very new, brand new Muslim caliphate, okay? I'm telling you, I'm not even exaggerating here, bro. This is literally happening, and he's balding in real time that we're catching him on this. So, I'm gonna show you, that you don't hate the media enough, but you also do not hate the propagandists enough. I think these people are genuinely dangerous to the United States of America. We are going wide open. Neo-Hamas is starting in fucking America, and you get motherfucking retards like Hassan, Diddy, Bin Laden, Epstein, Adolf Piker, known terrorist, pedophile supporter, and largest American leftist streamer of all time. We're going hard, all right? So lock in, boys and girl. We're going balls freaking deep, and then we're looking at the lawsuits in regards to all that shit. And Asmongold called me out, which is pretty great. So lock in, boys and girl. We got lots to do. First, let me show you some clips that Hasan has been showing recently, and this is going to be really fun, honestly. I think you're going to enjoy these immensely because they will paint the picture as to what we're talking about.
Hasan, you're a terrorist, but at least you're good looking. Thank you for saying that, I guess. Like,
not because we don't have elections.
Not even denying it. Not even denying it, bro.
But because I want to...
I'm gonna terrorize your pussy.
And then he says he's gonna terrorize your pussy. Largest leftist political streamer, incredibly progressive, known for having sex with potentially children at brothels and Diddy parties. That's right, that's Hasan Piker. I just wanted you to throw up in your mouth a little bit before we got too deep into the meat and potatoes. All right, here's the next clip that I wanted to show you. And this is, honestly, I think very important for everyone to remember. Look at this clip and remember that this is the largest leftist political streamer and why he will be going to jail and I will be proven vindicated.
874 Bellevue Drive, and I'm gonna kill you with my AR-15. Like, that's the type of messages they were leaving in this dude's office, and he's resigning. So I think that people are a lot more radical now. This is an unprecedented time to really get others on board, to explain to them that it's not your neighbors, it's not like a Guatemalan migrant that is responsible for all the shit that you're going through on a daily basis.
You know, it's your neighbor, it's your boss, they're fucking you over.
And so to be clear, the first half of his speech was saying that sending death threats to officials is good because look, some of them's even resigning. It's so nice that I'm radicalizing all of my audience of young people in order to make them terrorist retards. Aren't I doing a wonderful thing for America as a whole? I think I am. That was the first part of his speech. Get ready for the second part.
I think this is a unique opportunity. You get even Deborah's and Barbara's on board with that, like White Wymon's. And you actually wrote about this, and it was a great video where you talked about, you know, someone has to do it. See what I say?
Someone has to do it.
That everyone knows exactly what I mean. I think that shows that there's a lot of anger, a lot of resentment, and untapped revolutionary potential, as a matter of fact. And
oh, great. Oh, great. There's revolutionary potentialism, and someone's got to do it.
It's a great opportunity for organizing, I think, in these unprecedentedly horrible times.
What horrible dark times. Truly horrible and dark. Anyway, I'll show you what he's referring to when he says someone got to do it. This cretin that's sitting next to Hasan Piker is someone by the name of Taylor Lorenz. And she made a video titled Someone's Gotta Do It. And it's an entire video talking about why you should kill Trump. And why someone has to kill Trump. All right, so to be clear, to put things into perspective, this is Hasan telling his audience that they should be radicalized, there is a need for a revolution, and that we should go kill the president of the United States. In my opinion, Hasan needs to go to jail immediately. This is actually fucking retarded, all right? And it absolutely needs to be excised from public life. This is an actual fucking radical communist Muslim extremist, all right? And every time I see him talk, it reminds me of that again and again. Now, Tectone is on board, all right? He's starting to use the same verbiage about Hasan as I am. Now, I've been on to this motherfucker for a while now, you know, ever since he said that he wants every Jew in Israel to die. I've been on top of this motherfucker. I'll be real. Now, Tectone is now finally realizing that I was correct all along.
Insane narratives. That's literally, I mean, that's just insane. That's just insane.
I genuinely believe this is the most unlikable human being on earth. It is insane. Like, I am rarely ever a hater of someone's content. But my God, Hasan, you are quite literally the most unlikable piece of shit on human history. And I'm not even farming you for YouTube videos anymore, man. Like, this isn't even content. It's just not. Like, I hate this man with my whole soul.
I'll be real, I get it. This video that I'm making right now, I don't want to make it even. I just feel like no one's gonna properly coverage his propaganda for terrorists. So I'm gonna have to. You don't understand. This video that I am making now goes deep and hard. So if you are of the faint of heart, you should not be here.
This guy is a genuinely evil person. No, I mean this from my whole soul. I genuinely believe that God put Hasan on this earth to be a vile piece of shit, to tempt the morals of a normal human being.
I agree.
To see if they agree with this person.
That's right.
Because you gotta be fucking retarded.
Yes, sir.
Like, I mean, this guy is a fucking demon.
He is using the same words I have been using for months. He finally got there.
Human skin peeled over him. You mean the devil? It's just insane.
Yeah, so I'm really glad that people are actually finally recognizing how cartoonishly evil he is. And how he lies so normally, it just rolls off of his tongue. Like, he complains so hard, oh my god, there are negative comments about me, you must be an evil brigade. He shelters his audience from any other perspective.
The Americans, as a matter of fact, for example, have...
Comment sections are bullshit self-care. Oh no, they're being heavily brigaded.
They're not being brigaded. The comment, dude, they're not being brigaded for shit. This comment section has 300 comments. You think that's brigaded, bro? It's just you're an unlikable, radical, terrorist supporting, pedophile supporting dickbag. All right, dog? That's why it's quote unquote brigaded, because people are recognizing that you're a vile piece of shit. The tide is turning and you're gonna go to jail.
Which, of course, obviously, it is upon you, chatters, to go fucking seize control over the narrative.
And then he tells his tens of thousands of live viewers to go seize control over the narrative. That is brigading. That is exactly the thing that he's so mad just happened, which didn't happen. It was natural.
Okay,
chatters, you gotta go in there and leave positive comments, guys. Yeah, control the narrative. Actual fucking revolution.
Show support to NPR, which is unfortunately in a dire state and needs the support.
Fuck them. Fuck them. Fuck you. Anyway, so Hasan trying his best to reclaim the narrative that he so badly lost. And as you know, he's a socialist, obviously. So let's see what our favorite socialist streamer has to say about socialism.
It's sunny here in California, Los Angeles, folks, and I have guests in here right now. You won't be able to see them. You might be able to actually see them when they pass by me. There is a documentary team in here, but folks, we are live. We're alive, and this is the part of the broadcast where I tell you about my personal news about what's going on in the world of Hasan Piker in between the time period where I press the stop streaming button and press the start streaming button. So help me God, that's what I'm gonna do. All right.
He's so painful to listen to. It's unreal.
They can't see the chat. Okay, stop throwing up ass shaking emojis. Anyway, document how you don't game. Actually, a Chinese company has actually reached out to me.
Let's go. Chinese sponsorships. That's what I'm talking about. That's my socialist streamer.
A Chinese company has reached out to me to game, to give me money to game potentially. So we'll see. There might be.
All right, so our favorite socialist streamer is actually taking Chinese money for a game. Now, the funniest part is, in my opinion, it's also points out that he is a gigantic fucking hypocrite. All right, so this is him out here, communist piker over here, playing a Chinese game for Chinese money, is what he has to say.
What is this? Open 1 time, open 10 time?
So this is a gacha game, right?
Epic or higher rarity skin guaranteed with 10 opens. I don't even know what I'm doing. Wait, what am I doing? A decoder pack? No. Buy treasure box. I don't even know what I'm doing right now. Hold on. Not enough purified data. Purchase more. Okay, I need to get...
All right, so let's go. We got our communist streamer paid by China. All right, by China, paying a communist streamer to promote their shit.
Okay, I'm purchasing. I'm adding funds.
All right, now he's playing a gacha game, right? So that's fun. But what did he say about gacha games just a month ago?
Find the casual anti-gacha discrimination problematic. Okay, well, good luck. I'm not gonna ever fucking defend you because I think gacha in and of itself is also horrible.
Interesting.
I don't understand it, but you know, to each their own. But I do feel like that's just also streamlined gambling.
Yes. Gacha gaming is horrible, shouldn't be defended, stream like gambling. Until China pays him to play their gacha games and to promote it to his audience. Yeah, all right, let's go. Fucking Hasan Piker. Like, this guy, like, you do not understand how much of a propagandist he is. As easily as he breathes. Now, I wanted to get into the political era. I was taking it easy. So far, you've seen the light stuff, all right? Hasan made this tweet. One phone call is all it'll take to stop Israel's genocide. If Israel doesn't comply, shut off weapons transfers. If Israel looks to get weapons elsewhere, put a sanctions package. And if that fails, invade Israel militarily. Hasan wants Americans to die for Israel, just the other way around. All right? You know, like the Nick Fuentes quotes? Like the I will not die for Israel in a war with Iran, which didn't happen, right? Like Nick Fuentes is like far right. Right? Far right, I will not die for Israel. Then you got Hasan Piker, we should actually be dying, but to kill Israel. They are literally the same fucking guy. Like, you have to realize, the far right, the far left, there's no distinction. They are fighting a proxy war on American turf, fighting for retards across the world. Like, do you understand how insane this is? He's like, actually, I don't really want to give them money for weapons, but we should also literally die invading a nuclear nation. Like, you do not understand the level of retard that we're dealing with. And that is why I think that Hasan Piker and his Uncle Chunk, all right, are actually doing a psyop on American politics. These people are actually not caring remotely about the West, not even remotely caring about the West at all. They don't give a shit. All they want, personally, in my opinion, is the Islamic extremism across the sea to actually take over. That's what they want. That's why they push every communist, every Islamic candidate anywhere, everywhere, especially if they're extreme. And they're out there, in my opinion, committing acts of treason, subverting American politics. So this is Chank Younger. He supports fucking horses. That's a real thing. I've showed it in the past. And here's what he has to say about Israel. Now, he talks a lot about American politics, but whenever he talks about Israel, he pops off, baby.
How could you say something against Israel? Israel is the Jewish state, the greatest state of all, right? I don't care that they're Jewish. I wish they had a safe haven for Jews that didn't constantly attack their neighbors.
Do you know that the reason why they attack their neighbors is because their neighbors attacked them first? Like, he says while he's drowning in sweat.
That didn't occupy their neighbors. I want a safe haven, but they don't want a safe haven.
Yeah, speaking of occupying your neighbors, did you know that Israel gave Gaza to the Palestinians in 2005?
Want more land? It's called Greater Israel.
Greater Israel is a conspiracy theory that has absolutely no founding. Israel, after 1967, gave that land back. That's not even a real thing.
It's a map that hangs in their cabinet. It's not like they're hiding it. What?
That was biblical Israel. The map that they have hanging is not their plan to conquer neighboring countries. Their plan is the map that King Solomon had, all right, 2,000 years ago, all right? It is unreal how insane this is.
Why don't you report it? Because no, anti-Semitic. That's an excuse they use to drive hatred towards Muslims.
You're right. It's all about secretly driving hatred towards Muslims. I'll be real here. I'll be real. I don't think that the entire evil plan of Israel is to drive hatred towards Muslims. I'll be real here. I think that's mostly the Muslims' fault. I'll be honest. I'm not trying to be controversial here. It's mostly the Muslims that are driving hate towards Muslims, in my opinion. Now, again, not trying to be controversial, but that is the fact. Now, this is Hutch. He's a leftist streamer, but he is like a, I guess, normal leftist? Question mark? Right? He's like a normal leftist as opposed to like these fucking retard leftists, right? As opposed to the leftists that are trying to use their weird religious proxy wars in America. He's like furious that liberals have been invaded by these cretins.
Glitterbell with $5. Think about the actual damage done by Cenk and his nephew. This one family.
Yeah, his nephew is Hasan, by the way.
Has ripped the left apart more than, oh, bro, I don't even, yeah. Between Cenk and Hasan combined, we've lost millions of people. In the same way that you've lost family members to QAnon. It's just, we're probably never going to get them back, let's be honest. Unquantifiable levels of damage that they've done, that this family has done. At this point, I'll entertain the possibility that they're working for, they're like, you know, secretly double agents for some fucking country that's
Turkey
trying to undermine the USA. You know, because I feel like that's exactly, if they were, they would be doing this, right? Like if they were on the China payroll.
Well, we've just covered that Hasan Piker is quite literally on the China payroll.
or the Russia payroll or like the North Korean payroll, they would be doing this, right? Like there's attacking it from two different angles. Like,
so this is the leftist perspective, okay? This is this guy's a liberal, right? This is the leftist perspective on how Hasan and Cenk are fucking over America because they are walking in and they're making leftists care about Gaza over any other nation on the planet, right? Remember, they don't complain about Taiwan. They don't complain about Tibet, right? They don't complain about any of these nations that are conquered or, you know, controlled by China, like an actual colonial imperialist nation. But they will support every terrorist organization they can find.
Like just maximizing the amount of people that they can depress, like sufficiently depress so that they don't support the only party that can like save us from MAGA. Like they have it optimized, man.
God. It's crazy. So like it's wild to look at it from this perspective because he's not wrong. These people are, whether they know it or not, they are actively doing their fucking best to, you know, psyop the nation. I'll be real. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of insane. Now, Hasan made this tweet, and this is where we're going to start going into a bit of a tangent to debunk this claim, because you do not hate the media enough, all right? And since no one will actually give you the facts on the ground, I will also proceed to not give you the facts on the ground. However, I am going to hit you with another perspective. All right, you could believe what you want. Take everything with a grain of salt, but trigger warning, we're gonna get into graphic shit. Hasan made this tweet in early October 2023. This is, you know, October 7th, 2023 was when Hamas attacked. I think the reason why he didn't write October 7th and he instead wrote early October is because he doesn't want people to look up what actually happened on October 7th, which was a gigantic massacre where Hamas terrorists invaded Israel and slaughtered 1,200 people and kidnapped another few hundred. Abu Obeida said that the Israeli hostages, prisoners of war, they're not prisoners of war, they're hostages. They walked in, there was no war, they kidnapped random people. They're not prisoners of war, they're hostages, would experience the same thing all Palestinians in Gaza are experiencing since they are now in the Strip. Since then, Israel has bombed hostages, shot them, waved white flags, and is now starving them all the same. Hasan's claim is that Israel is starving Israeli hostages being held by Hamas. That's his new claim. Now, he's actually saying this in response to footage that came out from Hamas. So we are going to be doing something of a deep dive because he is actively once again supporting terrorism. He is saying that Hamas are the good guys. They're not starving hostages. No. It's Israel that's starving the hostages that are captured by Hamas. So not only are we going to be debunk this today, but we are going to be doing something of a deep dive into this entire situation because this guy is a fucking demon. Now, again, not saying that Israel is doing everything right in Gaza. Obviously, that is not the case. However, Hamas are the bad guys. Without even remotely discussing this below the surface level, Hamas are the bad guys. They started the war. They could end the war on day one. They refuse. They don't want to release the hostages. They are literally the bad guys. All right. Now, you could argue that things aren't being done well in one place or in another place. Not the topic of discussion. Hamas are evil, demonic, pedophile terrorists that started a war. They can end the war. They're not ending the war. They are easily the bad guys. And lock in, boys and girl. It's going to be a crazy ride. So, Hamas released this footage. This is a Israeli hostage, clearly starving, being taunted with a can of food that he's not given. And as you can tell from this image that they have released themselves, he is starving. And the Hamas guy that is feeding him is not starving. All right, look, I'll be real here. It doesn't take a doctor. It takes a person with eyes. This arm is a healthy arm. This arm is not. All right, they released this footage, mind you. This is what the Hamas fucks in Gaza released. All right, to be clear, I think it's important to note. All right, so now, to be honest, they also released footage of him digging his own grave, where they forced this guy to dig his own grave. Hamas releases a new horrifying video showing the hostage, Evyatar David, forced to dig his own grave, where he's sitting there actually digging his own grave. It's actually fucking crazy. It's insane. Actually insane that they released this and that there isn't, like, some sort of, pushback in the public. It's fucking insane. Now, anyway, it gets so much worse. So much worse. So, this is the New York Post. Hamas ghouls forced hostage to dig his own grave, starved of humanity. This is clearly somebody starving and being tortured. Plus, the real genocide is in Ukraine. Interesting. Anyway, so this is Scott Jennings. He's from CNN, by the way. He's a CNN guy. And he posted this, and he's like, yeah, this is, if you don't talk about this, you might be a morally bankrupt fuck. Now, this, by the way, is why Hasan Piker decided to make his tweet. It was in response to this that Hasan decided to say, yo guys, Israel is starving the hostages that are captured by Hamas. It's Israel that's starving them. Absolutely. 100%. It's Israel. Hamas brought forward 40 proposals. Actually, Israel brought forward 40 proposals as well that Hamas kept rejecting because Israel's number one goal is not let a terrorist organization to continue to shoot missiles at them, which is a pretty reasonable thing. You know, they came in, they murdered 1,200 of their people. They don't want the terrorists to remain. Incredibly based, in my opinion. And so he says, without even a second guess it, Hamas put forth disbanding, and Israel has refused. They're the reasonable party here. This is retarded. He is saying that Hamas is the reasonable party. This is directly supporting terrorism. All right, I don't even need to go too far here. He is directly supporting an American-designated terrorist organization. This is unbelievably horrible. Unbelievable that you could do this shit. And again, this is his response to literally Hamas posting videos of them starving people and making them dig their own graves. That they are the reasonable party. Now, I wanted to take a moment to look at all these different newspaper articles because there's something of an insane situation going on. They all posted variations on the same image of the same child who's starving in Gaza, right? Like this is clearly the New York Times, right? The Roman newspapers, you get German newspapers, The Guardian, they all post image of the same kid who's starving in Gaza. And it's truly a tragic situation when any innocent civilian dies or starves or anything like that. It is an unbelievable tragedy. All right, an unbelievable tragedy. Now, this is really, really sad. Except, this kid is not starving. This kid has a disease. Now, if you, okay, that's just funny for later. Now, if you actually take a deeper look into this situation, so a lot of interesting headlines came out. BBC reporters instructed to blame Israel for Gaza hunger. A leaked directive reveals that the BBC instructed staff to dismiss counter-narratives and blame a new Israeli-backed aid body for distribution failures in Gaza. Pretty interesting that they were instructed. Instructed by who, perhaps? I don't know. Now, remember that post from the New York Times I just showed you? This one over here for the New York Times with this baby that's starving in Gaza. Truly a tragic sight to see. Well, it turns out something really interesting happened. The New York Times published an image of a child with Gaza, claimed the child was malnourished due to Israel on its main account with 55 million followers. This account, 55 million followers, that is where they posted that there was this child starving in Gaza. 5 days later, it posted a correction. It stated that the child actually had a muscle condition on its alternative account with 89,000 followers. So on the official New York Times page, they posted that article with the quote-unquote starving child, saying that Israel is starving children in Gaza. And then they quietly deleted it and posted a correction on their communications account saying, oopsie poopsie, that child actually, oopsie poopsie, had a muscle disorder and was not starving actually. In fact, it turns out that very child, Israel flew that child to Italy to get cured for his muscle disorder. All right. Now, interestingly enough, the more and deeper you look, New York Times stunningly rolls back claims about viral photo of starving Gaza boy. They dropped this tiny little, oops, children in Gaza are malnourished, of course, but this one is not. Not this one. Nope. This one over here, this is a kid with a muscle disorder. This has nothing to do with starvation. And now, to be honest, I'll be real here. The mother is not starving, but the child looks like a skeleton. Like, let's be real here. What are you doing? Like, are we really falling for this? Like, this is obvious fake news shit. It's insane. And if you look at the way this war is being covered in every single news article of all time, based on the verified data, in Gaza, for every 100 deaths, there are 5,000 articles. In Yemen, for every 200,000 deaths, there are 800 articles. Okay, so in Gaza, there's 50 articles per person killed in Gaza. However, in Yemen, for example, there are 0.004 articles written per death in Yemen. Obviously, it's selective outrage, and obviously, it is pushing some sort of agenda. Now, I'm not going to say what the agenda is, but I am going to say all the biggest retards in the government are in on it. So once again, this is the same kid with a muscle disorder. Bernie Sanders says, Netanyahu says there is no starvation in Gaza. Now, I'm not going to go as far as to say that I believe everything Netanyahu says. Obviously, he is biased as well. So Bernie says that's a lie. That's a lie. Trump and Congress must decide. Will you continue to support the starvation of children? And it shows this image of this child clearly starving, except he's not starving. This is the same kid with a muscle disorder. It's the same kid with a muscle disorder. And in fact, if you want to really get conspiratorial, guys, what do we have here in the background? A kid that's not starving. So does this starvation only select half of the kids? No, it doesn't. It turns out, I do believe people in Gaza are hungry. I do believe that there is mass suffering going on in Gaza. Absolutely. There's a fucking war. Israel's controlling the aid. Without a doubt, I do believe that there are hungry people in Gaza, but they're not this hungry. They're not this level of hunger. The only images they have of people are of this one kid. What are we doing, guys? What are we doing? So again, now, you can keep looking, and the deeper and deeper you look, the weirder and weirder the narrative gets. See, here is a interesting video.
You see that there? That is a sack of flour that the UN is letting rot in the sun. I gave up trying to count how many hundreds of sacks of flour the UN is letting rot here, instead of picking it up and taking it to people who need it inside Gaza. Be skeptical of these international organizations that keep blaming Israel to cover up their own incompetence. It's the easiest thing in the world to do. But as you see here at the Kerem Shalom crossing, plenty of aid that should be going to people inside enemy-held territory in Gaza, and the UN is letting it rot in the sun. Shameful. Simply shameful.
Now, to be honest, the UN is Hamas in Gaza, all right? So there are two health organizations in Gaza. There's the American-backed organization, and then there's the UN-backed organization. The American-backed organization is delivering food, and I will show that in a minute. The UN-backed organization literally has stuff stolen by Hamas. And Hamas is starving their own people in order to post these images of how tragic this war is, and use it as propaganda. They starve their own people for propaganda. It's absolutely unreal. Now, if you look at the actual news articles that, quote people from Gaza, it is insane. Insanity. We are not dogs. Palestinians condemn humiliation of chasing after airdropped aid in Gaza. Dog. There is airdropped aid, and you're complaining that it's humiliating? Like, what are we even doing here? What is going on? This aid is disgraceful. We are not dogs made to run after aid, Ahmad Faiz Fayyad told CNN. We'd rather die of hunger with dignity than die in humiliation. What are we doing, guys? What are we doing? Dude, if your kids look like this, you would run after aid. Okay, I'll be real. What is going on? This is absolutely insane. Like, absolute insanity. How demonic these people are, right? There are restaurants that are still operating in Gaza. A lot of people don't actually know this. It's not like all of Gaza is literally completely uninhabitable with no food. But again, not the point. This is not what I'm trying to say. That is really not what we're getting here. Netanyahu claims there's no starvation in Gaza. Now, again, personally, coming from me, a guy, I'm not going to sit here and just immediately believe everything Netanyahu says. Obviously, he's biased too. Never trust the media. All right, listen, never trust the media, never trust the politician. This has been my rules literally from day one. All right, if a politician is talking, he's probably lying, bro. This motherfucker out here, like, let's be real. He definitely wants you to believe there's no starvation in Gaza. So I'm not just going to take it face value 100% what he's saying. All right, let's be real. Come on, let's not be such an idiot. Now, the Fish File says, the math is in. Israel's aid to Gaza is unprecedented in modern warfare. It's exceedingly rare in modern warfare, if ever, for a belligerent to facilitate such a massive scale of aid into the territory of its adversary. All right, you have to realize Israel is ultimately feeding people in Gaza, and realistically, that's never happened ever in all of warfare. That one army has fed the civilians of another army that, by the way, started the war. All right, like, again, the perspectives on this are absolutely wild. The more you look into it. Breaking news, says the New York Times. Israeli military officials say they have no proof Hamas routinely steals UN aid. Now, this is the New York Times, okay? The New York Times is saying, again, you don't hate the media enough. The New York Times is saying there's no proof that Hamas is stealing UN aid. This is a thread of videos of Hamas stealing UN aid. Like, you literally do not believe your eyes, they tell you. Right, so tell what's going on here? What's going on here, dude? All right, well, what are we doing? What are we doing? How many do you need? What about this one? What about this one, where they straight up say Hamas is stealing our food? So the reporter says aid is not coming, and then she said all the aid goes down underground, where Hamas is. The aid does not reach the nation and the people, says the lady, the civilian in Gaza that's being starved. And the reporter says, what do you mean? A lot is coming. What do you mean? Everything goes to Hamas's houses. They take it, they will even shoot me and do whatever they want to me, Hamas. Right? So you have to realize what's going on here. The civilians in Gaza are protesting Hamas. The civilians in Gaza say Hamas steals their food. There are videos directly proving that Hamas is stealing the food. The New York Times says there's no evidence Hamas is stealing the food. These are all videos of Hamas taking aid. Every single one of them. All of them. Right, so this lady is now yelling, saying those who want to send aid, do it with people they trust. You know why? Because Hamas steals the food. Now, thank God none of these kids are starving like they did in that footage. I'm sure they're hungry. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure that people in Gaza are hungry. So now look at this thread. This is a gigantic thread of a dozen or 24 videos. Like, tell me this isn't Hamas taking the food. You would literally have people with assault rifles standing on food, on buckets of food, right? On boxes. And they shoot at people that approach them. Again, Hasan Piker calls them the reasonable party, right? Do not believe your eyes, says the New York Times. Don't believe your eyes, New York Times says. Listen, all you have here are some friendly Palestinians getting food, and there's nothing to see. There is no Hamas stealing anything. Absolutely nothing nefarious going on with the terrorist organization. Those guys are really nice. Now, Hamas claims 59,000 people were killed in Gaza. B. Youssef, right, this political satirist, all right, with 11 million followers, says actually 434,000 people were killed. That's 20% of the population. Now, again, people believe this because they're retarded, but this guy, this Bassam Youssef guy, who is just on like the Nelk podcast, he gets around, he does podcasts everywhere, he claims that 434,000 people died when Hamas themselves only claim it was 60,000. Again, you have to realize how retarded the media actually is. How actually retarded the media is. Now, interestingly enough, the French people, you know, France has been super on top of saying, yo, we have to recognize a Palestinian state. Obviously, that's important, and we have to, and Israel bad, of course, obviously. Now, again, it's a complicated situation. There's a massive war. There are people suffering. I am not denying the suffering of civilians in this war, absolutely. But interestingly enough, Qatar to invest 10 billion euros in key sectors of French economy. Wow, no way. That's so weird. Interesting. Gaza said to be starving, but not release the hostages level of starving. You have to realize, ultimately, the insanity of the situation is the fact that, realistically, they're not ending the war, right? Hamas could end the war today if they surrendered and released the hostages. They're not doing that, but they're starving. Now, again, you have another video here. Journalist shows the pickups of pallets of aids just sitting, waiting to get into Gaza.
נמצאת כאן מזון שישראל רצתה להחליף שתוך רצועת עזה ומי שמעכב את ההכנה הזו זה האו"ם.
Right, so he is saying that here is food that is being prepared by Israel to be delivered into Gaza, and the UN is what is withholding the actual aid. That's what he's saying. Now, interestingly enough, this is the ambassador, Mike Huckabee. He is the ambassador of the United States to Israel, and he says this is important for the world to see. The UN criticized the US and Israel for food actually delivered, but it's the UN who has had massive amounts sitting on pallets rotting. Let's hope the press will tell the truth about the UN. This is what was said by the ambassador, an American guy, all right, the ambassador of the United States that is directly gone himself to see it in person. That is what he had to say. Now, when Hasan Piker, largest leftist political streamer, is constantly, endlessly pushing this propaganda, all right? That Israel is starving their own hostages, actually, it turns out. And then that Hamas is obviously the reasonable party here, right? That Hamas is the reasonable party. You are witnessing in real time a foreign agent literally propagandizing in America for the sake of terrorist organizations that want to kill Americans. All right, now speaking of Americans, this is Ambassador Mike Huckabee, and he went to Gaza today. All right, he actually just went to Gaza. This is a clip from the White House press office.
Ambassador Huckabee had a very productive meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu and other officials today in Israel on the topic of delivering much-needed food and aid to Gaza. President Trump is a humanitarian with a big heart, and that's why he sent Special Envoy Witkoff to the region in an effort to save lives and end this crisis. Tomorrow, Special Envoy Witkoff and Ambassador Huckabee will be traveling into Gaza to inspect the current distribution sites and secure a plan to deliver more food and meet with local Gazans to hear firsthand about this dire situation on the ground. The Special Envoy and the Ambassador will brief the President immediately after their visit to approve a final plan for food and aid distribution into the region, and we will provide more details for all of you once that plan is approved and agreed on by the...
Well, and it turns out it actually, believe it or not, it actually happened. Ambassador Mike Huckabee went into Gaza today and observed humanitarian food program by the U.S. launched the Gaza Health Foundation. Hamas hates the GHF. Why? Why would Hamas hate American-backed aid? America's literally giving hundreds of millions of dollars of food. I don't understand. Why would Hamas hate this? Because it gets food to the people without it being looted by Hamas. Over 100 million meals served in 2 months. Shout out to the United States of America that gets shit done. Now, Hamas is not stealing the food that's being delivered by the United States, so it's actually going to the people, interestingly enough. Weirdly enough. And there are just an endless amount of videos talking about how the UN food is just sitting there.
I'm here at the Gaza border at the Kerem Shalom crossing. Right now we're on the Israeli side. In just a few moments we're going to be crossing into
this is a journalist, I believe.
Gaza. I'm going to give you an inside look at what's happening at the depot where hundreds of trucks of humanitarian aid are entering the Gaza Strip every month in order to be distributed. I'm here in the Gaza Strip and I'm at the distribution center where thousands of pallets of aids are just waiting to be distributed. Let's take a closer look at what's happening here.
Anyway, and she points out that the UN isn't doing shit and that Hamas is stealing aid from the UN. All right, now realistically, the ambassador, Mike Huckabee, has actually been kind of cooking. This morning, I joined the Steve Witkoff for a visit into Gaza to learn the truth about the Gaza Health Foundation aid sites. We received briefings from the IDF. We spoke to folks on the ground. Turns out the Gaza Health Foundation delivers more than 1 million meals a day. An incredible feat. This is what's happening. That's fucking crazy. That's a lot. That is absolutely a lot. It's not enough, obviously. It's a population of 2.2 million or whatever, but it's definitely a lot. There are other aid that goes in as well. They also have food that they make themselves. Very proud Senator Tom Cotton is my senator. Truth is a powerful antidote. I don't know what he said. I didn't actually see this, but apparently he gave an 8-minute speech talking about this situation.
From Arkansas.
Well, here we go again. Hamas is on the verge of defeat, so it's cranked up the propaganda machine once again. Now, Hamas wants the world to believe that Israel has undertaken a campaign of deliberate starvation of the Gazan population. And as usual, Hamas can count on an international media and political chorus to fight their battles for them and try to bully Israel into submission.
And guess who's at the freaking front lines, baby? Hamas, Diddy, Bin Laden, Epstein, Adolf Piker. That's what I'm talking about. The man who wants to kill all the Jews in Israel has surprisingly taken the mantle of pushing the propaganda of the terrorists. The guys that started the war, that could end the war, that refused to end the war, and that starve their own people. And you know who supports them? Hasan. You know who's actually pro the Palestinian civilians? Me. That's right, me. I am pro the Palestinian civilians. I don't want to see them dying. I don't want them to die. I don't want them to suffer. I do, however, recognize the reality that Hamas terrorists are the ones that started the war, that could end the war, and that are starving their own people. Now, realistically, this is a fact. Okay? No matter how much these people absolutely hate it, it's unreal. Now, Anyway, interestingly enough, it's a long video showing the aid going in, going out. If you want to see that on your own time, you can. But this is me mostly. This video is mostly for me to talk about how Hasan Piker is an absolute piece of shit, and hilariously enough, how he's getting sued. So lock in, boys and girl, because it turns out the lawsuits are getting hairier. As you know, Ethan is suing a lot of them, and I am going to be diving into it. Let's see what we got here in that regard. I got people calling me propagandists in my chat. That's okay. You have every right to disagree and fact check everything that I said. The only images I've seen from starving people in Gaza were that one kid who has a muscle disorder. All right, I'm doing my best here. You have every right to find me something different. I'm sure that there are people hungry in Gaza. This has never, ever been something I've denied. However, it's Hamas's fault because, you know, they started a war, and they're starving their own people, and they're killing their own people. So you have every right to disagree with me. Hamas Piker is a terrorist-supporting fuck that, in my opinion, needs to go to jail or get deported.
Let's just go ahead and start with Frogie. Of course, I've got my PP. Now it's the same PP, but I'm going to do it differently and do it kind of special for you guys. So,
the propagandist in my chat said, but Israel refused to take the hostages on October 9th. Fact, go check. Oh, I am aware. You see, Israel always had a dual goal, my friend. 1, get the hostages back. 2, kill the terrorists that otherwise are literally going to start another war. You realize they walked into Israel, they killed 1,200 people, they took 400 captives, and then the next day they're like, oh, we'll just give you the hostages back if you don't invade, if you don't fight us, if you let us continue doing our terrorism. Obviously, that's fucking retarded if you have a working brain.
You know, this is a very special PP because it's live. So let's talk about this.
I'm not sure why he's talking about my PP, but let's talk about these people. Let's talk about their lawsuits falling apart.
It is literally about to default early next week.
Let's go! Let's go! Fat downfalls! That's what we do here, boys and girls. Between terrorist supporters, we also talk about fat people absolutely getting destroyed.
What has she done with the 50K she raised? We have not heard from her or her attorney at all. She had
what? No! Hasan out there on the front lines of propaganda, and his little goobers can't even respond to the lawsuit. There's no way.
Has like 5 days to respond to our complaint, or she loses by default. And this,
bro, she pocketed the money. She ate the 50K, bro. Oh my god, that's diabolical.
This was last night, and this was last night, so it's probably down to 4 days. It's probably down to 4 days. So after this came from Ethan. So this is from Ethan, right? This was the Snarkers. And this is one of the most legally inaccurate takes. That's one of the most legally inaccurate takes.
Bro, why are you even responding to random comments on Reddit? They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. All right, this is the wholesome part of the part of the Hasan Piker fucked episode. All right, until here, we were talking realistically about how Hasan is doing actual propaganda for terrorists. Trying his best to subvert American politics into dying in a war, invading Israel. Hell yeah. And now we're talking about the retards actually eating ass. All right? And I'm just telling you, definitely subscribe. Let's up those numbers, because realistically, I have great news. Hasan is going to go to jail, and I will make a video on it.
Ever. Okay. This is from the Starkers. Can't wait to see the case dismissed after Fro. What is she, like, first of all, who calls her Fro? Like, when I hear them call her Fro,
it's very obvious. It's Fros are referring to afros. Afros are round, and so is Frogan. It's literally math. It's literally math. You call yourself a lawyer?
It sounds like she's Fro-yo. Okay, like
bro, if Fro, I'm just saying, man. I am just saying, bro. If Fro was in Gaza, there would be a real starvation crisis. I mean, it's bad right now, but it would be like absolutely diabolical. Absolutely diabolical. I'll be real. That would be crazy.
Can't not think that she's frozen yogurt. So let's get into this. After Fro files a motion to quash after being improperly served, this dude is such an idiot. He has all of,
like, dude, I'll be real here. It's fucking awesome. It's fucking awesome. Speaking of, okay, so a lot of you don't know this probably because you're not like deep in the fucking memes and wits. All right. Listen, I'll be real. People aren't complaining. So people don't know about the fat Gazan memes. Like, these memes are fucking everywhere. It's like, this mother is starving. Please, please. She has a kid with a muscle disorder. Please, please give her food. She is starving. Like, bro, what are we doing, guys? What are we doing? For the record, this is people in the tunnels, right? This is people in, these are Hamas terrorists. In the Hamas tunnels, right? So again, it's always diabolical when I see this shit. Always diabolical when this shit is actually shown, right? Like, unreal. Again, I have no idea. I have no idea what the actual tragic situation is. But what I do know is some people in Gaza, at least, are not starving. And that's very good news. I cannot believe that the starvation has taken another one. This is so sad. Anyway, moving on. So you probably are not aware of the Fat Gaza memes, but they are a thing.
Of his money and doesn't know what to do with it. So therefore, his quack of a lawyer is just taking it from him. LMAO. This is really funny. Okay, well, first of all, let's correct the record. All lawyers
are quacks.
All lawyers
are
greedy, money-sucking.
I've said this the whole time. I've said this the entire time, by the way. To be clear, never trust a lawyer, right? They're mini politicians, all of them. They are literally trained to lie. I've said this a million times. And listen, I'm Jewish. I have a million lawyer relatives. They're all liars. I'll be real. What does a lawyer do for a living? They go into court to convince them that their client is the correct one, no matter if it's true or not.
Quacks. No, they're all crazy in a special way.
Agreed.
All lawyers are
Agreed.
crazy
It's
in a
true.
special way.
He's right.
But beyond that, this is procedurally inaccurate and completely wrong. And I'm going to explain how this is just completely wrong. So, first of all, let's explain what a default judgment is. Okay? Default judgment is a court ruling in favor of the plaintiff, typically because the defendant does not file a defense or the defendant doesn't acknowledge the claim. So, if you just want to stick your head in the sand and pretend you don't know what's going on, you're likely going to get a default judgment. Now, there are certain circumstances in which not receiving service is a real thing. However, in this case, Ethan Klein has multiple methods. He can, obviously have what we call hand deliveries when you're hand service.
All right, love
but
that.
There's also service by publication, so you can publish it in a newspaper of general circulation, and that can generally get back and serve as service. And beyond that, we all know that Frogan knows about this lawsuit. Like, it's not something that Frogan doesn't know about.
She raised money for it. Wait, are you telling me that Frogan raised money for a lawsuit that she's not even responding to? Oh my God, is that what they call fraud?
It's very public, so it's very clear what's going on here to a judge.
Oh, yeah.
Frogan is trying to dodge this. Frogan is trying to evade this, right?
Obviously. Yeah.
And Ethan Klein, through this default judgment, this court ruling in favor of the plaintiff, he would win without Frogan ever having a chance to assert defense. So
based. It makes sense. Like, think about it this way. He is suing Frogan. Frogan knows that she's getting sued. Frogan never responds. We assume she lost because otherwise she would respond. If she actually had a defense, she would say it. By the fact that she's not saying it, Amy has no defense. It means she's guilty. She's guilty! That neighbor is guilty! I got the noose right here.
Frogan, even if she gets this default judgment, so even if the court ends up ultimately siding with Ethan Klein and saying, hey, default judgment. And remember, with a default judgment, that isn't a win for Klein. He gets what he wants.
Yeah, obviously.
So he'll get damages, whatever else he wants, injunctions, removal of the video, whatever he wants. He's going to get that by default. It's just saying, well, this person's not fighting back, so okay.
Dude, you can't, obviously this is the case. I know I saw people upset about this law. Like, some people are a little mad about the fact that this is a law. This law makes so much sense. Like, imagine someone wrongs you, you sue them, they go la 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 la, not answering, la 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 la, and they just refuse to answer. No fucking shit, they're gonna lose. You can't just say, oopsie, I'm not responding. You can't just not pick the phone up, bro. We're gonna assume you're guilty. That's not an argument.
And then he can proceed if she does.
With all due defense, Your Honor, my retard is retarded. My client is retarded, Your Honor. Listen, Saul Goodman wouldn't hit you with that strat.
Doesn't do anything. She can proceed to collecting on that judgment at a certain point. However, Frogi Yogi does have a potential opportunity to challenge the default judgment.
All right.
And she does that with an objection to the default judgment.
Your Honor, in my defense, I have a mental illness. Your Honor, in my defense, I have a mental illness.
Which is a motion to set aside. So she can make a motion to set aside the default judgment. Now, she does need to have a valid excuse, right? So not...
Your Honor, In my client's defense, she is so fat. She is really fat, Your Honor. She could not fit through the doors of the courtroom. We request a mistrial, Your Honor. Her weight prevented her from reaching it on time. Okay, in her defense, she was in a food coma. It's what happens when you eat 14 boxes of Cheetos at the same time. Your Honor, in my client's defense, she's retarded.
Receiving the claim could be if the service, all types of service, were invalid. But I guarantee you that at least one type of service that they used on this, whether it was, hand delivery or publication or some sort of substitute service, was legally sufficient to provide notice of service or sufficient service to proceed with the case.
Right.
They're not going to issue the default judgment typically if there was completely bunk service. But
right.
the burden would
Dude,
be...
she raised money for it. What are we talking about? How can you possibly make a claim? How can you possibly make this claim? She raised money. Oh my God.
On Frogie to prove that. And beyond that,
yeah, it's not happening.
You'd have to have something like illness or extreme emergency. And
Your Honor, in my client's defense, her fat has invaded her brain. She is gravitationally impaired. Your Honor, in my client's defense, she is on a strict Lizzo diet and it is not working.
As far as we know, in the Frogan case, Frogan is not in the hospital. Frogan is not under extreme emergency. Frogan was not in a crisis zone.
I'll be real. Frogan is a crisis zone.
Right? She's not somewhere where bad stuff is going down. Right. Or she'd have to prove a procedural error. Right. However, she has to respond to do this. And that response has to be very...
Your Honor, in my client's defense, there is literally a genocide happening right now. She cannot be bothered with frivolous lawsuits when there is literally a genocide.
Prompt and persuasive. So she'd have...
Look at Frogan. There is starvation occurring in real time.
To do that anyways. So she's going to have to go back, write the court, and explain why she did not respond before, etc. And the judge is not obliged to accept that. The judge can say, I don't accept this. We're still sticking with the...
Your Honor, in defense of my client, her fingers are literally too fat to type messages on the keyboard. She would have emailed you earlier, but she literally couldn't do it. It was a physical impossibility.
Fault judgment. Now, here's the thing. Here's the biggest thing. And here's where the snarkers are completely wrong. Oh. This is where the snarkers just are completely stupid. Is even if Frogie objects to the default, and even if the judge grants her motion, if everything goes the same way, you know what the end result is? It's not the case being dropped, kids. It's the case proceeding as normal. So if Frogan goes through all this extra work, all she's going to do is have the case proceed as normal. Literally, somebody in the chat said it. Who said it here? Square one. It's back at square one. Congratulations, Frogan. You literally did nothing. You do all this work.
Congratulations, Frogan. We are now in your honor. In your honor, we will be naming this fat Gazan Brogan in your honor. We will be doing it for you.
Work for freaking nothing. Wow, Queen. Wow. So smart. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Sigma. Right?
True.
We're just going crazy here. We're just going crazy. But let's also talk about the money. The money. So here's our lovely...
This is the ultimate kill shot. This is why I'm not even taking this remotely seriously. She has no argument. And the reason why she has no argument is very simple. It's because she raised $50,000. She raised $50,000 for this. And now she's going to make the claim that she didn't know what was happening. What are we talking about?
Lovely Frogie. And she's got... her legal defense fund at this point at $35K. She also had other donations from other places. So I believe, Ethan's number was around $50K. He's tracking this closer than I am. So let's just assume that it's $50K, but, she's got at least $35K here. But she had this legal defense fund. And my concern is, what about the money? What did you do with the cash?
That's what I'm talking about.
What did you do with
the money?
You're clearly not spending all that.
In my client's defense, she was hungry.
That money on your lawsuit.
We're cooking. Why'd she raise $50K?
And so the question is, the question is, where is that money going, Frogan?
Froggy pokey.
Where is that money going, Frogan?
That's a great question.
Is that going to your...
It's going, listen, in her defense, Hasan needed the money to pay for more hookers. All right, listen, it was important.
Muffin budget?
Not the muffin button. Not the muffin button.
Because it's certainly not going into responding to the claims.
True.
Right?
So are you not only a content thief, but also a scammer?
And they're not going to respond to the claims. And what happens if the funds were diverted to purposes other than the legal defense? That's a possible crime.
Oh, this is bad. Oh my God, they're all getting fucking destroyed. This is amazing. The Hasan orbit is all gonna be in prison. They're all gonna be in jail, and I will make content about it, and everyone will be happy. Them for being in jail, making it believe that they actually contributed to their fake cause. America, because fuck these people. They are literally here to subvert our country's politics. And me for making content about it. Truly a glorious time where everyone wins.
That's a possible crime. Theft by deception.
True.
False pretenses, fraud. This is a type of fraud. Also wire fraud.
Yeah, dude, she made 50K and she didn't respond? I don't know. Miss Piggy about to get porked. Anyway, Hasan, Asmongold had something to say. Someone sent me this timestamp.
What if she raises... Wait a minute. So are we in a universe where if by her raising money for this legal defense, and then she doesn't actually meet it and defend herself, she could actually end up losing 2 court cases at the same time?
True. You know what that means?
So for, the Nux Taku video is going to be, Frogan is now 200% fucked.
That's right, baby! That's what I'm talking about.
He'd be right.
That's right, baby! That's what I'm talking about! Double stuffed Frogan! 2,000% cooked, baby! To be fair, Frogan is the fastest growing streamer under some calculations. I'll be real, it's happening, okay? It's happening. I've been on top of this shit since day one.
So we're talking about potential theft or fraud. Did it go into an IOLTA?
Yeah, what does he mean for once I'll be right? What does he mean for once I'll be right? I am right. I'm just early. All right? I am right, but I'm early. I'll be real here. Hasan Piker is going to jail, and then everyone will say I was right the entire time. I am correct. I'm just a couple months ahead of the curve.
That's a very good question. We don't know. We don't know. And once again, this is speculation. So out there, let me be very clear. It's me speculating. It's a question I'm asking, and I don't know. And we need to know, where's the money, Frogan?
Yeah, Frogan.
What are you doing?
Come on, Frogan.
The other thing is, if she was misdirecting these funds, she can be fined. There can be restitution.
Based.
Right? Finer.
Meaning
the money is returned to the people.
Nah, she ain't fined.
People that donated. And there can even be prison time. So we need to figure out what's going on with that money. So last night...
Listen, man, every once in a while, a drama rolls around and it'll turn out 1,336 days later. It'll just turn out that I am completely correct. I'll be real here. I'll be honest. It's happened now more than once. In the past month alone, it's happened more than once. You have any idea how many people have been saying between all the different drama that's been going on the internet, I was vindicated like 5 times with doing nothing in the past month? I'll just be real here, bro. I'll be real. I'm not gonna point out who is having downfalls and how directly I deserve to be vindicated. I'm not gonna point it out directly, okay? But we all are thinking the same shit. Playing the long game, baby. Mega vindicated. Oh yeah, I wasn't even thinking about Pirate Software. Yeah, I called him out about 6 months before this drama. I said he was a fake fuck. And it turns out he's faker than I even had any believe. Bro, that, the shoujo, I'll be real. Even people that I don't want to necessarily have downfalls are having downfalls. But if they've come at, look, Mike from PA gets banned. All the fucking orbiters get sued. Listen, man. Dude, even Mudahar. People are coming for Mudahar, bro. People are coming for Mudahar. I'll be real, he stabbed me in the back. I forgave him. All right, I forgave him. We're good. I don't really think the drama's big, but anyone that comes for me gets cooked. It's crazy how this happens. I'll be real. Everyone that comes for me gets annihilated.
This was the language last night. Tell me if she changed this language.
Got God and anime on my side.
I highlighted this, and this is what was up last night, as of last night. Okay. So after 2 years of target harassment campaign against me, Ethan Klein has now escalated it into suing me for reacting to his video on Hasan and myself on his video titled Content Nuke Hasan Piker. This fundraiser to cover any and all legal fees associated with this complaint and any counterclaims I have against them. So stop there. So far as we know, she has not paid any legal fees, and she definitely hasn't filed any counterclaims. So as to these two, they're wrong. Now, here's the part where we might get into some debate. This next part, the part I underlined. She puts any other bills and personal expenses. So she's going to argue, oh, I can put...
Was it always written this way? Was it always written this way? Personal expenses was on her GoFundMe? No. Does anyone have a screenshot of her GoFundMe from before this?
Put food under that. I can put makeup under that because I need to look pretty for litigation. I can do all this sort of stuff. That's a personal expense. I can pay for like 22 layers of cover up.
I mean, to be fair, the rest of the sentence is from lost wages and damages are rising from this litigation. You cannot claim that you had $50,000 of damages from this litigation. No one will ever buy that.
Right? Under personal expense, because that's a personal expense. But the problem is, and then the rest of the sentence, from lost wages and damages.
There are no lost wages or damages. She could have just kept streaming. It's her problem for taking time off. All right, literally, it is her problem. This does not, in my opinion, defend it whatsoever.
Arising from this litigation.
Yeah, these are not issues rising from the litigation. They're her problem. It's a skill issue.
Well, the question is, when you have arising from, if you're not participating in the litigation, if you are not fighting back, there's no litigation to speak of. Therefore, it's not arising from the litigation. So despite the fact that personal expenses is here and that might be valid, it's in connection with the litigation. It's not personal expenses for her to go on a personal trip, right? Or her to go buy a sandwich or whatever.
Multiple sandwiches.
Not any of that.
Try the triple sandwich.
That is a situation where she may have some trouble. All right, so let's get into denims. Let's go deep on denims, okay? Even though she's disloyal.
All right.
Here is this discovery matter. It's an order granting a stipulation for the plaintiff, that's Ethan Klein, he's TED Entertainment, to serve third-party subpoenas prior to Rule 26F conference. So this is literally, remember, as a reminder, disloyal denims literally betrayed the Reddit mods. She stabbed them in the back.
Holy.
She refused to defend them at all. She completely
Lord, yes! Eat each other like the fucking terrorist supporting assholes you are. Incredibly based. Yes, eat each other alive.
Get this moving along.
That's what I like to see.
And she gave up all of their information. She said, you know what? You can subpoena them. You can get all their information. That's denims. That's the type of girl she is. Once again, this is why these people are going to fold like a sack of cards. They have no loyalty for each other. They don't care for each other at all. All of this, we're one big community. We're one big proletariat. That falls apart. That falls apart immediately when push comes to shove. They're pushing each other in front of the firing squad, right? They're pushing each other in front of the firing squad. And we see this with denims right now. Completely under the bus. Upon consideration of the joint stipulation, granting plaintiff leave to serve third-party subpoenas prior to the Rule 26F conference of plaintiff TEDx Entertainment, TEDx Inc., and defendant Alexandra Marwa Saber, PK denims. Dirty denims.
What
and
are
for
we
good
doing?
cause shown. The court
Literally,
hereby rules
what
as
are we
follows.
doing? Why are we literally writing these lawsuits like they're memes?
Stipulation is granted. TEI, that's Ethan Klein, may immediately serve the subpoena.
Oh my God, they're getting all the freaks. They're getting the freaks.
Exhibit A to the stipulation on the third-party Reddit, that's so Reddit in general, accompanied by this order, and show the date of the Reddit subpoena. It was issued in the date of compliance. And they may also serve subpoena on Discord.
Oh my God. Oh my God. This is literally fucking Christmas, baby. They're picking up all the retards.
Granted by Wesley L. Hugh, Sue, maybe, a United States District Judge, July 31st. So the point of the matter here,
absolute cinema, all the retards, all the fucking retards, they're getting eaten alive. Oh, hell yeah, dude.
Is that we have a official subpoena of Discord and Reddit. And Discord and Reddit, I'm telling you right now, and I know this, I have friends that are civil litigators.
It doesn't matter what posts you delete, they have everything backed up.
Seen this in other cases that we've studied, etc. Discord and Reddit are going to turn over all the data.
Yeah,
they do not care. They have no dog in the fight to defend these people.
Yeah, why the fuck? Discord and Reddit, you think they want to protect some random fucking terrorist supporting retards on their platform? Absolutely not. They're going to sell you immediately.
None. Zero. They do not care. They do not want to fight, want to go into a huge legal battle over fighting.
Yes. Well, that's what you
They're
love
just gonna
to
do
see.
it. They're going to roll over and do it.
Nice. Love that.
But then also, because some of your cohorts leaked your Discord messages to us, we have some of your Discord IDs. And guess what? We're gonna if anyone's gonna have your real identity, it's gonna be right there. We're gonna have.
That's it. Hold on, let's play it one more time.
Messages to us. We have some of your Discord IDs, and guess what? We're gonna if anyone's gonna have your real identity, it's gonna be right there. We're gonna have all your messages. Discord. And listen,
I'll be real, bro. I'll be real. Listen, man. Being part of the Jew cabal has its upsides. What can I say? The Jew cabal is kind of cooking. They're getting the Discord info finally. This is absolute cinema. Absolute cinema. And I'll be real. I also know the names and identities and addresses of a lot of these people. I do. Just by being merit of the Jew cabal, I do have information on a lot of these people myself as well. It's so funny. When I got these info, I'm not going to say how I got it, but when I got the info, it was literally, listen, us Jews, we gotta know who's out there supporting terrorists, actually promoting terrorism in America to kill Jews in America. And if I die, people need to have it. Okay, listen, I'm not saying there's a Jew cabal or anything like that. I'm not gonna say that. But I am gonna say, I am gonna say, these guys are fucked. They are mega fucked. Again, not doxing people and shit. But it's gonna be crazy.
and don't try to erase them. If you erase them now, it's not gonna look good.
Yeah, true.
You guys remember that? You guys remember what that is? Now, obstruction. It can't be obstruction. It can't be obstruction, but spoliation of evidence. That is exactly right.
Nice.
That is exactly right. You guys in the class paying attention. So let's continue. Let's play the rest of this.
And you should know that I'll still get them even if you erase them, because the companies hold.
Yeah, they don't really delete that.
Yeah, and that and so I'm getting it. So you can erase, you can run, you can cry, you can piss, but I'm coming, and you're about to find out.
Yeah, baby.
When
you fuck around, you find out.
A stranger, and
there it is.
We got to pull that sound.
Okay, I will gladly do that.
Great scene.
It's but then also.
So the point is that even if they delete it, it's not going to matter.
True.
So
they're what we call in the profession. They're what we call 750% fucked. It's a glorious time to be alive. Justice is being served. Do not support terrorist organizations in United States soil. Do not fuck with incredibly rich people, especially Jews. It's kind of crazy how that shit works sometimes. Let's get the fuck out of here, gamers. Literally, all you guys are cooked, and it'll take some time, but the Hasan Pikers of the world will also get obliterated. I'll be real. I'll be honest. It's definitely one of the most wild situations of all time. Now, again, to wrap up this episode, everyone in Hasan's orbit is getting fucked. Mike from PA got banned. He's like one of his right-hand cocksuckers. All right, the other orbit of retards are all getting sued, and Hasan Piker and his uncle are out here doing terrorist propaganda, direct terrorist propaganda. All right, this is the Israeli hostage, and honestly, he looks more starved than any image I've seen from anyone in Gaza. It's fucking insane. Again, look at the hand of the terrorist that's taunting him with food. Like, this is a healthy hand. This is not. All right? Now, Hasan Piker, in response to this footage, all right? In direct response to footage of them forcing this guy to dig his own grave, all right? They literally filmed him digging his own grave, all right? In response to this, Hasan Piker decided to make this tweet and say that Israel is the one starving them, and that Hamas is the reasonable party. Gentlemen and female gentlemen, I hope we're all here. Lock in, boys and girls, because his time is coming. It will happen. It might take 1,336 days, but absolutely fuck this man walking into America to subvert American politics into dying in a war. Now, for those of you that are unaware, Hasan Piker directly wants America to invade Israel militarily. That is his stated fucking goal. Literally, fuck this man. Fuck his invasion into American politics. And honestly, get him, his communist, terrorist, radical supporting fuck ass out of my country. Please, thank you. Stay weird, fam. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fam.